Hey guys, hopefully everyone's quarantine is going well. I know that ours is ending here officially in like 2 weeks, but then, who knows how long it takes for things to actually open back up. But I think we're getting close. So we're almost there, people. And then we're gonna go out and have a lot of fun and have some beers in the bar. I can't wait for that part. But anyways, what I wanted to talk about today is a couple cars, well I guess more than a few cars that I really enjoy. I think they're great cars and I would really like to own one, but they do have a, what I guess you could say, a fatal flaw, which makes them, I guess, a little bit less desirable. When I was going over this list with some friends, I realized a lot of these were European cars, and I want to make this point first that it's not that I hate European cars. I love them, and I'm actually, one of the reasons I want to do this video is because I'm actually looking for an E92 M3, but it has some issues which give me pause, which is kind of, what inspired this. The other thing is I know like my lighting is a little weird. One of my lights burned out because of all the coronavirus stuff. Shipping from Amazon to get one replaced is taking forever, so I'm down a light, so that's why that one's a little off. Alright, so to start, I will go, and these are in no particular order, by the way. The first one I want to talk about is the E92 M3, like I was talking about. Great car, love the looks, overall performance is pretty good for what it is. The price is very affordable. The one thing that it does have, though, is it has a bearing issue. So from what, and this is just the only reason I know this is because I've been doing some research since I want to buy one. I want to know how much this is going to cost me. So looks like you can do it at a local shop, not the dealership, but a local shop that specializes in European imports and whatnot, is you can get it done for between $2,000 to $3,500. Seems to be, the kind of like the going rate or so. That seems kind of expensive, but it is a lot better than paying up to $35,000, which is what BMW quoted me for replacing the motor if you happen to just, shatter it to pieces. So as some of these, E92 M3s get up there a little bit in mileage, I think kind of ones that I'm looking for, like sort of like in like the 60 to 100,000 miles, it does start to become an issue. The next car, and we'll just kind of keep going on down the line, is the E46 M3. So E46 M3 also had some bearing issues, although it appears that the later model ones were fixed. I'm not an expert on that, so maybe someone who is more into BMW can correct me. It seems, though, that maybe they weren't fixed, but it just was a lot less common for the later model ones than to start spitting bearings and whatnot. So the big thing with the E46 M3, and I think a lot of people who are in the BMW community will just sort of nod their heads on this one, is the SMG transmission. It is just sort of a basket case, and that's one of the reasons why the true 6-speeds go for so much more than the automatic ones. One of the big problems, though, is that, I've also, I really like the E46. I've looked at them a few times, is a lot of sellers will put manual transmission in the description, and then when you, actually see the car, it is the SMG. I guess the biggest giveaway is because the actual shifter thing does look kind of similar, like it could be a manual on first glance, is just make sure that, like the paddle shifters on the side of the steering wheel, if it's got those, it is not a manual, it is an SMG automatic. And that thing, as far as I know, there was no real true fix. They kind of just keep breaking, and it really starts to get costly. It's funny, I had one guy who was trying to sell me his E46 with an SMG that had like 175,000 miles on it. And he was trying to tell me this because people don't know how to drive them properly. If you drive them properly, then it's fine. I'm like, dude, that's not the case at all. So, go ahead, keeping this party going. The next one I want to talk about is the Audi S6, the one with the turbocharged. I believe, and don't kill me on this one, I think it was like 2010 to 2013, somewhere along those lines. Anyways, the turbo in that one tends to burn out. What kind of made this one catch my attention is I have a friend who has one of these and had 44,000 miles on it, and it ended up he destroyed the turbo. And it was probably just like a one-off thing, whatever. And Audi charged him like $10,000 to fix it, and I was like, holy crap. So I was trying to go look and see like other options or like what people were doing, and apparently it is a very common thing. I guess from what I understand, it's because the turbo is actually mounted on top of the engine for performance reasons, but because the turbo is just sitting right there on top of it, it builds up a lot of heat, as you can imagine. So longevity is not really something that's in the cards for those when Audi is putting them together. So the next car I want us to talk about, and we'll switch it up from the Europeans, is the Gen 5 Dodge Viper. That one in particular, it also had bearing issues, so apparently this is a common theme here. The bearings on that one, from people that I know that have Vipers and just being part of the Viper community from owning one, that one's not even a matter of just if, it's kind of just when. So a lot of them are lower mileage, so it's not quite as big of a deal, but it's pretty much like if you're going to be looking at one of those, you should be thinking about, getting those swapped out. Otherwise, it's a great car. I really like them. Don't know if I'd want another Viper, but if I did, that would probably be the one that I would go for. And I guess the last car that I want to talk about that I find very fun and intriguing, but just really has some issues, is the V10 BMW M5. I think a lot of people, really like the M5s. I know that I do. It's, looks like a pretty cool sedan. Obviously the performance is there for what it is. But again, there are some bearing issues. Although also, from my understanding, I think they can drop a valve as well. But that's neither here nor there. I guess, yeah, pretty much any kind of car that's performance-based, for the most part, if it's European, I guess it has bearing issues. So, people don't kill me on that one, but yeah, a lot of these, there's a reason why these cars start out, and, the European ones start out, $80,000 plus, and then a couple years later you can get them for like 20 to 30 grand. It's because once they're out of warranty, people don't want to deal with this shit anymore. So again, that's my list of sort of cars that I would really love to consider owning one day, or am considering owning. But there's just something about them that makes me sort of just stop and think of, is it really worth the hassle? But yeah, well, I appreciate it, guys. Hopefully we'll see you soon, and hopefully we'll be out of quarantine soon. So thank you, and I will see you guys later.